So I wanted to create one video to show you the 9 different ways you can kill microbes in your body. So let's say you're feeling run down and you're feeling sick. These are some things that you may want to implement. Number 1, a fever. Of course, you may not have a fever, but if you do, you don't want to get rid of the fever too fast. You want to let the fever work, because when your temperature, which normally should be 98.6, starts to elevate maybe to 100, you're basically cooking the microbes, killing them off with heat. But of course, there is a point where it becomes dangerous. And if you let the fever go to 107.6 degrees Fahrenheit for a growing child, that could be dangerous. It can actually create brain damage. So with a small child, this would be like way too high. I would say if it gets like 102, 103, then you can maybe do things to actually drop it. And as a side note, for children, one of the best ways to help speed up an infection, especially if it's viral and there's a fever, is just to give the child some simple calcium. I would give calcium lactate. It seems to reduce fevers pretty fast. Okay, next point is oxygen. I love ozone therapy. I did a video on it. I put a link down below. You can check it out. But ozone is used for a disinfectant for multiple purposes. So you can use ozone in an air filter to clean particles in the air, or there's even ozone therapy if you have a kind of a systemic infection. But ozone really is good for many things. There's even a therapy that you can use it to put up into your sinuses, even in the ear, to kill off mold or fungus in your sinuses. Now, just oxygen in general will help kill microbes. A lot of the pathogens, the microbes that you don't need in your body, are anaerobic. That means they live without oxygen. So if you're going to flood the body with more oxygen, they're going to have a hard time surviving. So even the therapy, hyperbaric oxygen therapy, works for certain types of systemic infections. And then there's, of course, the hydrogen peroxide. I did a video on this recently by diluting that and gargling with that if there's any type of microbes in your throat to kill off microbes. Your cells actually make hydrogen peroxide to kill microbes. So the white blood cells actually make this as a way to kill them off. The next way to kill off microbes would be to starve them what they normally eat, and they love glucose. So go on a low carb diet, okay? That's going to improve your immune system. This is why a diabetic who has high sugar has higher infection rates. Did you know that ketones are antimicrobial? Ketones can kill various types of bacteria, fungus, and even mold. So if you have candida, for example, or some yeast infection, and you go on a low-carb diet and you're in ketosis, that can help you greatly. I put a link down below for some real interesting data on using ketones as a microbial factor. All right, next factor is stress. Stress can activate dormant viruses, okay, like herpes virus, shingles. So keeping your stress down can keep viruses in remission. The problem with viruses is you can't really kill them because they're not really alive. So the only solution is to stay extremely healthy and keep your stress as low as possible. Now, the next point is just keeping your immune system really strong, which relates to what I just talked about, but a good probiotic. Most of the cells inside your body and outside your body are actually microbial. So you have this symbiotic relationship with microbes. And if you had a series of antibiotics, that can really weaken your immune system. So a very high quality probiotic is essential in building up your immune system. Also, vitamin D is really important in strengthening the white blood cells. And intermittent fasting will also help as well. I mean, if you think about when an animal gets sick, they just stop eating. In fact, when you get sick, you may just lose your appetite. That's just a natural way to fight infection, which I'm going to do a separate video just on that one point. Now, altering your pH. When you acidify certain parts of the body, like by drinking apple cider vinegar, for example, you can speed up phagocytosis, which are these little white blood cells that eat up bacteria. There's a very interesting book that I read on a therapy that they used to do in the 30s and 40s, where they would inject a person with very low levels of hydrochloric acid and potassium to speed up the phagocytosis and help fight infection. But I wouldn't necessarily recommend injecting yourself with hydrochloric acid at this time. Just stick with the apple cider vinegar. That would work just fine. And then we have just plain salt. A lot of times people use saline solution for infections in their sinuses because salt actually sucks out the water of microbes and it helps to kill them that way. And if you look at the ocean, for example, they have salts and other minerals. It has natural antimicrobial properties. And then we have the herbal remedies. Okay, this is like a natural antibiotic. Turmeric, oregano is my favorite. Sulforaphane, which actually is in broccoli and definitely sprouted broccoli sprouts, which has a tremendous amount of sulforaphane. Sulforaphane is a phytonutrient that's very toxic to microbes. So it can create an environment that kills the microbes without killing off our tissues. And garlic, of course, is very important. And onion is great to take if you're feeling run down, if you have a cold. It's just a great every microbe, antiviral, antifungus, antibacterial. All right, guys, there you have it, the 9 natural ways to kill microbes. So if you're enjoying this content, go ahead and share it with someone that could really benefit from it.